Hello everybody and welcome. This is MFL Total Access. That's Terry Bahalis, who's healing and healing quite well it seems. I'm Will Power. We've got a special show for the folks today.
Since neither of us were there this past weekend.
Yes, that's true.
Great timing to do mid-season report cards.
Report cards, we've got our grades.
They're actually going to be at the mid-season this
Yes, finally.
like in the spring, it was like a third quarter report card.
We wanted to do it kind of right this time, right? So it feels better.
Yeah, I think most teams played 5 games. A few played just 4. A few maybe played 6.
Well,
but
sucks to suck. But yeah, no, this is the most mid-season that it could be.
All the Montreal teams, all the Brossard teams.
Yes.
Go through everyone. Hopefully we won't forget anyone.
Yeah.
If we do, let us know.
That one year we forgot nice TDs, eh? Yeah. And Chris let us know about it.
Yeah. Anything you want to say before we start? Oh yeah, we're at Libera this Saturday. I mean, everyone's at Libera this Saturday.
Yes.
And games start at 9 a.m.
a.m.
So I think it gets a little darker outside by the end of the day. So
that's true.
Just don't want to track those balls at the end of the day. Got to wake up a little earlier.
So slow down on the partying on the Friday night, folks. Slow down. Yeah. Drink your coffee on Saturday morning because we got early football.
So I was really hesitating. I was either going to ask you to explain how you do your grading system, or I was going to take the episode of the spring and put it right here.
Either one is fine, but I could definitely explain now that you asked. I'm not a guy who does solely based on expectations like everyone likes to do. When it comes to flag football, I like to do a little bit of expectations, a little bit how your team is doing lately. Good wins, quality losses. Obviously, that went in the other direction. Whether your team's hot and cold, and also based on your record. If I thought you were going to go 0-5 and you're 0-5, I'm not giving you a C. I'm giving you a big fat F.
Yeah. Well, the debate, for those of you who didn't understand, the debate last season was that if you're just going to grade based on how well the team's playing or how well the team has played, then you could just look at the standings and be like, okay, first place team gets an A+. Second place team gets like an AA-, third place team gets a B, and then last place team gets an F. That's a little bit what Will was saying. Whereas my grading system is more based on, before the season started, I had a preseason expectation of how I thought your team would be doing up until now. And I'm going to grade you based on that. So like if I thought your team was going to be flat out garbage and you guys are playing 500, well, you're probably going to get a very good grade. If I thought you guys would be the number 1 seed undefeated and you're playing 500, you're probably going to get a bad grade. Like, I'll give you a great example. I was looking at the standings because I looked at it a little bit before the show.
Yeah.
And, just in Division 2 is a great example.
Mm-hmm.
Marvels are 1-5. Spirit Gang are 0-4. They both deserve horrible grades, right?
Yes.
Right? Like, would you give them both an F or...
I would give Spirit Gang an F.
Okay, you give Spirit Gang an F.
Yeah.
I can make the argument that the Marvels deserve a worse grade than Spirit Gang.
Yeah, that is
because
fair.
We were expecting Marvels to be good and we were expecting Spirit Gang to be bad.
You know what, Terry? That's actually not bad. You should, pretty well said.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it's partly based on expectations. Not solely.
Okay. Let's start with Brossard.
Good idea.
Get out of the way.
Yeah.
So I don't really have any expectations for any of the teams here because I don't know many of them. We're just doing this and I get the hate.
100%.
There was a crazy upset. Red Knot Skins defeating La Horde this past weekend.
Wow.
So we could start with Red Knot Skins.
Okay, let's do that. Red Knot Skins 3-1 with Miles at quarterback. Like I talked to on the show a few weeks ago, seems to be getting better every week. Yeah. He does have a few studs around him, but at the end of the day, you're only as good as your quarterback.
The Outlaws didn't come back in Brossard, and also part of my swag did not come back, so I saw Miles pick up some of those stars.
Smart guy, good recruiter.
Yeah.
Some call him Baby Steve.
You can see Craig Browning leading the way for receiving yards and touchdowns for them, but Miles having a way better season at quarterback than he had previously, right?
I think he was always a smart QB, but I think now he's smart and applying it to the field. Like if it's not open, he's not forcing it there. He's gonna either tuck it and run or go to his second read. He's just becoming more comfortable at that quarterback spot.
Yeah. Riley leading the way on defense, 6 picks in 3 games.
Yeah, that's 2 a game.
Quick math.
Thank you. These guys are really good.
So
studs all across the board. I'm gonna go A-.
A-? Yeah. I gotta agree with that. I was gonna go with A.
Yeah.
I think this team exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, mine as well.
I would be before the season. I would hope for them to be like a 500 team.
Yeah.
That'd be like a win for them right now.
Totally.
They're 2 games over 500. This Division 2 is just as good, if not better, than it was last season, right? With no Division 1
yes.
in MFL Brossard this season. Like you have La Horde, Congrès, who came from Division 1, old school, most probably would have been a Division 1 team last year.
Yeah.
Buccaneers were up and coming team that are very, very strong.
Solid squad.
And then defeating La Horde is clearly showing that they're not pretenders, right?
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
Close game, 30-26. I think La Horde are
also beating 28-3 and Ravens. Their only loss came against KLB, who were my preseason favorites. So
yeah,
I think A- is a very fair grade for this team.
Thank you.
The only thing is they have more points against than points for, even though they are 3-1.
But like to me, I look at it the other way. Like these guys are able to win close games, right? That's what it shows. Obviously, that one loss they probably got blown out.
Yeah.
But they're able to win close games. They won that first game in overtime against John in 28-3.
Yeah.
So shows they're able to win tight ones. I like it.
Yep. Next up, let's go with Old School.
So Old School beating 28-3, 54-0 this past weekend. Can you pull up the stats for that
Really
game?
Giving it to them, eh?
Yeah.
John was not playing, no, because John was
Okay.
injured.
That is true.
Went back to their own QB roulette.
Okay, Nico.
Yeah.
Solid
Nico
quarterback.
against Nico.
There you go. 1 through 7
If I
touchdowns.
told you both quarterbacks combined for 7 touchdowns this game.
I'd say 4-3 shootout. Well, look, Nico is filled in that quarterback. He's quarterback for them before. Not as good as John. A fairly good receiver, so they're losing him at receiver. But let's jump to Old School here. I'm going to go with a B. I like this squad. They're good. They're smart. They have athleticism. They got Nico at quarterback. They have the mix of youth and experience too, which is good. And I'm gonna go I'm even go B plus.
Hey, no glasses for this one?
No, I know, but I was
your grades are gonna be a little more off. Eh?
No, I was wearing. You look good actually, but I always look good. But I was wearing the nice polo. It was free dress day at school here today. Yeah, cool. But it's like a still fancy shirt. But yeah, I'm gonna go with a B plus actually for these guys in Old School.
So you changed from a B to a B plus?
Yeah, I'm going B plus.
I'm going B minus.
Really?
3-2 record. I had this team being like a top contender.
Yeah.
They're sticking over 500. What's reassuring to me is that they were able to beat KLB in the season.
Right. This thing. And one of the losses against KLB too. Right. So.
Yeah, but the loss to KLB was
a bad one.
Bad loss. And
Yeah.
I think in their win against KLB, they didn't have Joe Pio at quarterback. So kind of a little asterisk on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Only putting up 12 points to La Horde. Convincing win to Buccaneers. It's kind of an up and down season, right? Like they demolished 28-3, like completely demolished. So like, the reason I'm giving them a B minus, not a C, is because I see their season continuing from this game now. Like
going upwards
I see maybe it was a little shaky start, but now like they could go 4-1 in their last 5 games, kind of thing, which they should.
Yeah.
Up next.
But I like it.
Sorry?
I like it. Good stuff.
Do they have 5 games left? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
4, 5. Yeah.
They're 3-2 right now. So they have one loss. It's
Up next, we
complicated.
got Le Congrès, who came in a little late in the season, had a back-to-back, had a doubleheader in the first week,
Yeah.
losing both games to KLB in 28-3, getting demolished. I would even like that.
Yeah.
And then pulling 2 straight wins against La Horde and Typhoons, who are 2 good teams.
2 solid teams.
Yeah.
This is a team that is fairly new to MFL. I remember playing
Had
against
a
them.
losing record in D1.
Yeah, they did. But like they have the athletes, like I said, they have the Austin Matthews lookalike. And these guys are athletic. You can tell. I mean, I'd be surprised if they haven't played tackle before because they seem to know the game. You can just tell they're football players. I'm gonna go with a B. I like 2-2. 2-2 is good. I'd say the reason I'm not going to go a little bit higher is because those first 2 losses were blowouts, but B, because they won their last 2 games.
He's pretty high as a grade.
Yeah, it is. B's high as a grade. Won 2 games in a row against, he said, 2 solid teams. And I look for this team to be a dark horse. I like these guys. They're good. They're smart. And they seem to have played together for a while, whether it's tackle or flag. So I like the core of this team is solid.
I'm going to go with a C, because coming down from D1, having twice as many points against as you have points for, you got to shore up that defense, right? Like I understand you're not scoring many points, but you can't give up that many points either. Almost minus 50 differential after 4 games when you were previously even though you were like maybe a weaker D1 team, you were still a D1 team, so I figured you'd have an advantage this season.
That's fair.
La Horde.
You go first.
2-4. They score a lot of points, but they also give up a lot of points, averaging 28 points for a game, giving up 30 points a game. This team has a lot of studs. Like they have a lot of good players, led by Dave St. Jean. 8 touchdowns, 440 yards in just 6 games.
Yeah.
On defense, François Rochette, 4 picks in 3 games.
Ball hawking safety.
Yeah, like this team is too good to have 4 losses right now, right?
Right. They're too good to even have 3 losses.
Their 2 wins came up against Old School and Typhoons by 1 point in a 45-24 shootout, right? That could have very easily put them at 1-5 right now. Looking at their losses, they lost against beatable teams, right? Like I don't think they should. Without taking any credit from Red Knots,
they should be Red Knots kids.
They should not have lost that game, right? So I got to go with a D for this team for now, right?
Yeah.
Like this team was originally in D2, put up to D1, made the playoffs in D1, right? Lost in the semifinals to the Outlaws.
They did to us, yeah.
So they were a D1 playoff team, semifinalists, coming now and like. I think they're on the outside looking in for the playoffs. I believe only the 6 first teams make it.
Yeah.
I already have played 6 games, so they're really like behind right now. There's no reason your defense should be averaging 30 points against a game in this division right now. And if they are, there should be a reason you guys should be scoring 40 then.
Right, yeah.
That's what I have to say.
I'm going D minus.
Wow.
I think you said it very
Usually
well.
you're too nice.
Yeah, I know. Like now, no, we know these guys. These are our boys. This is a good football team. A good like team that's been playing together now for a while. They've got studs. I think even if you take away the fact that they've been playing together for a while, they're good enough to string away a few wins. So the fact that like they've been playing together for a while and that the fact that they're 2-4 is surprising. Like you said, like defensively, like it is MFL flag football in general is a league where you're supposed to put up points, but like you said, Francois Rochette with those amount of interceptions, these guys should be getting stops. There's no way they should be giving those amount of points. I don't know if it's organization. I don't know if it's defensive play calling. I think that when I've played them and sometimes they turn against each other. Not in terms of like bickering necessarily, but say, oh, you were supposed to be here. So I don't know if it's blown assignments, but these guys need to get it together. They need to be more organized. And I would think about maybe having a new defensive play caller because it just doesn't seem to be working for them.
You're fired.
Let's go. Come on now.
Ravens up next. A little different when it's not Steve-O throwing for you, right?
Touche.
Not that Ludovic's a bad quarterback, but I think this team has had a lot of different players taking different faces as it's been a free agent team.
Mm-hmm.
My expectations are not very high for this team, but there's a lot of great players who play Saturday MFL, part of this team, right?
Yes.
A lot of new free agent players that are new to the league as well.
Yeah. Our boy Eric Tange, nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna debating between a C- and a D+. They did get that one win. It was in week 1 against Typhoons.
Mm-hmm.
They have been in close games, right? They lost to Red Knotskins by 1 possession. They lost to Buccaneers by 1 possession.
Yeah.
So the last 2 games, they've been in the game, right? It's not as if they got blown out.
Right.
I think I'm going to go for a C- for that. Give them a little bit of encouragement. There has been good ball distribution. There's 4 receivers with 13 or more receptions on this team.
Our boy JF, man, he's really come out like he was always solid, but now he's really coming out of his shell.
Yeah. Even on defense, he has 2 sacks, 1 interception, 4 PDs.
Gotta love it. He's there every week. So is his wife, and he loves the MFL, and it's showing.
Yeah,
good stuff.
So what do you got there for them?
I'm going D.
Yeah,
I think C- is too nice of a grade. Unfortunately, Ludovic's been the Rosses have been struggling on Saturdays in Montreal. It seems a little bit to be continuing over here. Free agency is tough because flag football we talk about is a bunch of experience, but just the way they're heading, the fact that they won their first game and then lost 4 in a row, you got to pick it up. I'm going D.
What do you got for Typhoons?
What's the record?
A donut and a lot of losses.
It's going to be a solid F. Look, encouraging that they were able to put up a bunch of points against La Horde, and that 40. I did not think they were going to put up 44 against La Horde.
Yeah.
19 points for, 32 against. I believe Rob White has been quarterbacking this team for most of the season, and look, Rob's a smart quarterback, and when he's feeling it, he's feeling it. Mm-hmm. I think with him there and the experience he has to play defense on this team too, and they got ballers too, where they got Sean Haney playing a game, you got McSweeney too, you got Sidori. Yeah, I'm going F.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you, F, because this team has no wins, and given the talent they have on this team, they're arguably better than that other free agent team.
Yeah.
And Rob is we love Rob, right?
Yeah.
Rob's a good quarterback. He should have gotten at least 1 or 2 wins.
Yeah.
And looking at his stats, he has 20 touchdowns, 15 interceptions.
That's what I'm saying.
16 sacks against. That's a lot of interceptions and sacks.
Yeah.
And looking at his game by game, he either played great or played very poorly.
Yeah.
He doesn't really have those mediocre games. He either gets a lot of touchdowns, not a lot of interceptions, or not a lot of touchdowns, a lot of interceptions.
Right.
And I just think he now it took some games to get the string of it. Rob's been playing Rob plays every position, right?
Yeah.
He's the
Swiss Army knife.
He's kind of the best player to have on a free agent team, right? To
Yep.
place everyone, have them, and I think now's the time where you gotta start getting some wins, right?
I agree.
Next game against Red Knotskins, a very winnable game, even though Red Knotskins are a great team. I like that they put up a fight against most teams.
Yeah.
But they're averaging a minus 30, a minus 13 differential, so they're losing their games on average by 2 possessions.
Yeah.
You gotta do better than that.
100%. And who knows what happens if it gets they get down early and then Rob has to force it deep and then those get picked. But you got to start off strong with these guys. But big game, Red Knotskins.
Then we got KOB.
KOB sitting at 5-1, 36 points for, 20 points against. You look at them over the course of the season, starting off 2-0, losing a tight one to Old School.
Who's got their quarterback?
True, exactly. Then,
Although I'm not sure Joe Plot should be throwing in this division, right?
yeah, that is true. That's a conversation for another time. Beating Red Knot Skins. So the last 3 games they win fairly convincingly: 41-18, 45-12, and 40-31.
Yeah.
I have to say we've talked about preseason favorites, and you picked them for the number 1 in terms of your power rankings before the preseason. It's hard to argue that. I'm gonna go with an A. These guys are solid. They know the game, especially with Plot throwing now for these guys after having a few seasons playing receiver. It's championship or bust for these guys.
Yeah.
And they've shown that so far in the season.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with an A- just because they have that one loss, and I think they should have been able to win that game even without the regular quarterback. Maxim Plot played quarterback all for them almost all last season, and he showed like he could also play quarterback, right?
For sure.
This team has like most of the regulars from Montreal, right? Besides KJ and Kamal, they have Alex Valliere, Jérémy Reynaud-Demers, Max Plot, Thibaut Daou. They even have Alex Gonzalez played a game for them. I believe he won best receiver. Played for Rusty Trombones.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. I hope it's the same guy.
Well, it's nice getting praise anyways.
This team is like stacked across the board. Like, they have multiple guys with at least 2 interceptions. They have multiple receivers with multiple touchdowns. This is like a clear D1 team.
This is not a team where you could take away one guy and expect to win the game. Right? Like there's no
exactly.
weak link on this
they
team.
could have like a guy or 2 missing from their top receivers, and they'll still be massively favorites, right?
Yep.
I see them going undefeated the rest of the way and winning the championship, and it'd be a disappointment if they don't.
Yeah, a championship or bust.
You said that for them in Division 2, Montreal, when they were like a middle of the pack team.
Right, and that's when they won the championship, right? Took my words to heart. I like it.
28-3.
Yeah,
4-2.
What do you?
Who knows how long John's gonna be out for? Who knows who's gonna take over at quarterback? Did your phone ring? Did they call you?
Ring. No, they didn't.
You're not quarterback. You're not playing Brossard. Maybe you're gonna take over.
I didn't think about that.
Quarterback. Yeah.
But 20-3, they have to change the name. That's for sure. They have to change
to what time?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Or undefeated because we're 3-0.
Yeah, might not last long. So Olivier Filippelli is like their all-star.
Yeah.
420 receiving yards, 8 touchdowns.
I like the 12.9 yards per catch.
7 interceptions on in just 6 games.
MVP.
Yeah, for them, of course. Now it's going to see can he like help that new quarterback, if it's going to be Nico, whoever it's going to be, step up.
Yeah.
So this team is 4-2. They lost their first game to Red Knot Skins. They lost their most recent game. Loss is like an understatement right now to Old School.
That's worrisome. The final score is worrisome.
Yeah, because John not being there does not make your defense worse, right? Like,
yeah, agreed.
You should have as good of a defense and not give up 54 unless there were pick sixes thrown in this game.
For sure.
In their 4-game win streak, they beat Typhoons twice, who are winless.
Yeah.
They beat the Ravens, who only have 1 win. So their 4 wins, the 4 teams they played the 4 wins against teams they played have a combined of 3 wins, right?
It's really hard to give these guys a grade. I'm gonna go C+.
Yeah, it's crazy because I think it's like looking at the record, I give them a B.
Yeah.
Analyzing the opponents they played,
yeah,
it has to be a C.
Yeah.
But it's weird to give a team
and the last game they
usually
played,
doesn't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
A C with a winning record.
Well,
right?
I think they're kind of past that now.
Yeah. Well, I got recency bias, so I'm looking at the last game, so you guys are getting a C.
Yeah. It's I go C+, boys. A little bit more generous.
And they're playing KOB twice to close out the season, and Lao twice. So John did them no favors. John's like, peace, I'm out.
Yeah, exactly. He was like, he planned it all along. He's like, I'm gonna show these guys why they need me. But we'll see what they do at the quarterback position, right? They see if they stick to Nico, or if they get somebody else who wants a quarterback for them.
Buccaneer, last but not least. Can we do everyone else?
Yes. Buccaneer.
One of your favorite teams?
One of my favorite teams, if not my favorite team. 4-2, coming off of a victory this past week. They're good, okay?
This team's only getting better.
They're only getting better. They love the game of flag football. They know the game of flag football. They have studs across the board. They have a good quarterback. They have solid players. It's hard to find an area where this team lacks. It's like I'm talking about them as the favorites. Well, how do they match up against KOB, for example? Well, if they're playing a team like KOB, they're going to have to bring their A game. So
no mistakes.
No, yeah, exactly. They play KOB. KOB are going as favorites, but would I be surprised if Buccaneer win the game? No, I wouldn't. All that being said, I like these guys. I'm going to give them a B+.
Yeah.
The few weeks ago, playing KOB, the team we talked about, losing 40-31, so still a respectable score. But I think for right now, it's not about better for these guys. It's about stringing away wins and beating a team like KOLB. Like that's the next step for this Buccaneer team, beating the teams that have really dominated MFL over the last few seasons. And I know they can do it. They got some good players, so I'm gonna go B+.
They have the opportunity to do that because they're playing old school later on this season. Loud, good teams. I'm gonna go with a B- because dissecting their schedule, they lost to old school, they lost to KLB. Their 4 wins, 3 of them came against the 2 free agent teams. So they have 3-0 against teams that have only 1 win. They also beat Loud, that was an impressive win. They showed they could win those close games.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go B-. That was the negative as to why there's that, but the positive for them is that like Francis Bouchard's TD to interception ratio is good. He has 3 receivers with over 200 yards, 3 receivers with 4 touchdowns or more. So that just shows that like he's not focusing on one guy, right?
Right.
Like I like a team who can pass the ball and distribute it to a bunch of the receivers.
Yeah.
So he's doing a good job at that. And like I said, they won a close game. They kind of won the games they were supposed to win and lost the games I would have predicted them to lose.
Right.
So it's kind of like where I expect them to be.
Yeah.
The rest of their season, they have 4 tough games. I could see them going 3-1. And I'd hope for them to go at least 3-1 in those games and finish the season out strong, right?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I think like some of you talked about, the star player for this team has been Gabriel for years past, but this season he has 4 games, 10 catches. It's good that they're able to put up points without like him necessarily getting 5 to 6 catches a game and a bunch of TDs. So makes it tough for teams to defend.
Yeah. So that's it for Brossard? That was like whole 15 minutes, I think.
That was fun though.
More.
Hope you guys enjoyed. That was fun.
D5.
Let's
go D5 and up.
Okay, agreed. Well, you want to go middle of the pack and then down up like we just
What do
did?
you want to start with?
Let's start with Phoenix right in the middle. There, 5.
Okay.
Phoenix, 5th place. Was this the team that Nick was throwing for when it was, right, when Kev wasn't there?
So Nick's the only quarterback on this team with more touchdowns than interceptions. Because we were talking about Kevin's interceptions, but it never went greater than his number of touchdowns. Right now he has 12 picks to 10 touchdowns. This is concerning. Like it's concerning. His interception problem is just getting worse and worse. Averaging over 2 interceptions a game when you're only averaging, like even when you put in the rushing touchdowns, he still has less total touchdowns than interceptions right now on the season in Division 5, right? Who, let's say Kevin never played quarterback in his life. The number of flag experience he has, he should be throwing more touchdowns than interceptions, right?
Agreed. I refed a game that Kevin quarterbacked early on in the season. He didn't seem to be on the same page as most of his receivers. I thought he was a little bit stubborn in that game. It was kind of like his receivers he threw where they were supposed to be, even if they weren't there type of thing. And I know that's tough, and it's not to criticize Kevin because some of these receivers he hasn't thrown to before. And a lot of these picks are not just on Kevin. They're the receivers too, either not fighting for a ball or running the wrong route. But yeah, I'd suggest that like for Kev, you don't want to run every second play, but sometimes you tuck it and run it, or take that little short check down pass. I know it's not pretty always throwing those 3-4 yard hooks to Nick, but like it works. So if he has to go back to that, just
Kevin does have ballers on this team. Khalil, Nick, Trenton, Brandon Amarante, they're all really, really good players.
Yeah.
He got Fix Bejain subbing, the guy that they all star for Le Boucher.
Yeah.
Like the only thing that's not making me give them like a D, or I mean I'm probably giving them a D, but like not giving them an F, is that week 1 win against Fighting Armadillos.
That's a very
really, really impressive. But then you look at their schedule, they lost to DD Hunters, they lost to Sour Peeps, and they lost to Vultures. Okay, Vultures maybe you could assume they would have lost. You would have thought they would have lost that game, but they should have won against TD Hunters and Sour Peeps.
Yeah.
They beat Heisenberg, they beat Cobra Kai, who I think are both like bottom of the pack teams in Division 5. So I'm gonna go with a D for them, if not D-.
Wow.
The thing I like about this team is they're all about having fun, right? Like, as much as Kevin has been having poor quarterback play, he's been a great leader and captain for this team. He distributes the ball well.
Yeah.
He's always fair with all his players. He rotates everyone in. There's no like benching people or stuff like that.
Right.
And I see his team for the most part having a lot of fun. Agreed. And that's what you want in Division 5.
For sure.
You gotta be better. Maybe it's a time to shave that beard.
You want it, even if he was undefeated, it's time to shave that beard. Yeah, but Kevin, I am impressed with Kevin as a leader. Got to second you on that one. Very kind of that calm approach, complete opposite to like
the Kevin
like towards the refs or towards anybody else. I'm gonna go with a C. I think D- is a little bit tough. Kevin did miss a game, although Nick did play well in that game. I can see this team hovering around the same spot, finishing the season, like 5-5, maybe. I don't see them finishing 6-4. I'm gonna go 5-5, just squeaking in the playoffs, and then once you're in the playoffs, it's a whole different game. I'm gonna go C for these guys. Next up, Mimosa Crew.
Sure.
Mimosa Crew sitting at 2-3, plus minus of -19. So they have Ryan McSweeney, who is playing quarterback for them.
Played one game in
He
quarterback.
played one game quarterback for them. This past weekend, I believe it was actually... was it Curran that went quarterback this past weekend? No, it was McSweeney that went.
Yeah.
So I don't know the deal with Curran. I know he was injured. I don't know if he's injured for the rest of the season. Hope you're okay. Let us know.
Even before that maybe injury, he was running a lot less. He only ran 7 times in four games and had 1 touchdown. Whereas at the beginning of last season, I remember he was running like 209 times in 5 games. And it was working for them, right? Like,
right.
Like I know,
But I kind of like this approach. Because I don't think...
Because like you want to win games. I think Curran wants to win games. He's a great leader. He's very, very competitive. And like if running is what's making him win games, he can't run every play. He has to throw the ball half the time.
Yeah.
And as long as his teammates are backing him up and are not complaining about it, even if they are complaining about it, you still do it. But if they are complaining about it, maybe do it a little less, run maybe 1/3 of the time. But if he is injured, I hope he's recovering and he'll make a comeback.
Yeah.
So it's kind of up in the air. This team only has one receiver with over 100 yards. No one with more than 2 touchdowns. I think they kind of took a step back from last season. Last season they really impressed us, right?
Yeah.
They won a lot of games that I don't think we had thought they would win.
Mm-hmm.
Taking Drama Club down to like the last play in those playoffs.
Yeah.
Winning against Sour Peeps and squeezing out an OT win against Cobra Kai is not enough for me. I had higher expectations for you guys. I'm only giving you a D because I think you guys are way better than this.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I'm going C-. I was close to giving them a D. I'm going C-. Curious to see what happens. Who's going to go quarterback for these guys later on in the season. No matter who it is. If it's... I believe, even the game before Curran didn't play, I think he may be done for the year. So let's say it is...
That game?
In this game, they had like 4 quarterbacks in their previous game, not last week, but the week before. Ryan's a good quarterback. He's a good runner. He's a smart QB. And he
it was Ryan quarterback the other game, so his stats weren't in.
Oh, okay, it was?
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
No one quarterback. Like, I don't know where you saw 4.
What was this then?
You're looking at the receivers probably.
Remember? But yeah, all that to say that Ryan's a good quarterback. He put a great weekend for us in Master Chiefs this weekend.
They should be in good hands with Ryan as quarterback.
Exactly. So I'm going to go with my grade, but with the potential of going a little bit higher later on.
So what's your good?
C-.
All right, Sour Peeps starting the season off 0-2, listening to our feedback and now winning 2 of the last 3 games. I mean, one of those games was a forfeit win.
Hey, win's a win.
But that win against Phoenix was huge. The game against City High Hunters, they did not score a lot of points, but their defense really stepped up, losing by just 1 possession.
Their defense is always going to be solid.
Yeah. And what I really like about this team is that they're averaging less than 20 points a game against. Which is like phenomenal in Division 5 where like it's very easy to score a lot of points, right?
Yes.
Very easy to make a lot of mistakes. And their offense is only going to get better. So if that defense maintains where they are and that offense just gets slightly better, I can really see them winning more games, right?
Yeah.
The key is to punt less.
Yeah, I like it, boys.
Well, when you have first-time QB like Jocelyn, like he's a great football mind, right? He's a very smart player, learning the game of football, has a 1-to-1 TD to interception ratio. That's not bad, right?
No.
Like for a guy like that, like he has better interception to TD ratio than Kevin, who's been playing quarterback now for 5-6 seasons. So like, keep your head up. You go with those simple plays. There's no need to take the top off the defense, right? Even though you have a great arm and you do it, and most of the time, unfortunately, I've seen more drop passes by receivers when the ball was in the basket.
Mm-hmm. Well, you talk about keeping it short. I believe Pierre Olivier is their snapper. In 4 games, he has 20 catches, 6.7 yards. Like that's fine, right? You're getting 6.7 yards.
That's double what like top snappers in D1 are averaging.
Exactly. No, it's so true. So like keep that going defensively.
Flavie Duval leading the way. 29 tackles. Like she's literally tackling everything on that defense.
It's madness. 29 tackles for her, and then Lambert getting 5 interceptions in 4 games with the 5 PDs. Defensively, these boys and girls are in a good spot. They're in good hands. So yeah, I like I'm going C+. I'm
gonna go with B- because on top of all that, they're having a lot of fun, and I can really see it having a promising end of season.
Yeah,
and I can see them maybe squeezing out like 2 or 3 wins in the last 5 games, and maybe getting a winning record in those last 5 games. And I really wish they do because it's a great team, right? It's a team that MFL likes to have.
It is.
And
don't look now, but right now they occupy the last playoff spot.
Really?
Yep.
Damn.
Who knows about the tie breaks and everything? But that's weird. There's going to be 7 teams that make it in D5?
There's 10 teams. Yeah, it should be 7.
So...
Like NFL style. Number 1 gets a bye. The only team with a bye.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
The last calls.
Okay. I think I know a little bit more about these guys than you.
Okay.
I'm not sure why that is. I'm not sure why you just said that, actually.
Because you have more D5 games?
That's true.
I know they have a great receiver in Sebastian Luca Alzate, who might be one of the best receivers in this division. 7 touchdowns in 4 games, 313 yards. He's clearly Guillaume's like go-to guy, right?
18.4 yards per catch. That's the Tyreek Hill piece to see later.
They don't have a Waddle on the team though.
They don't have.
But they do have 3 other receivers who have over 100 yards in 4 or 5 games. So that's actually very good also, right? So he does have his main guy, but then he has like a trio of number 2 guys.
Right.
Or like a trio of number 3 guys since there's no real number 2 guy.
Right, and like that's okay, right? You're always going to have that guy you go to in on key downs, but quarterback for these guys, Guillaume, I really like him as a QB. Smart quarterback. He's only got a 47% completion rate, but I do actually find him one of the best quarterbacks in the division. Smart QB, doesn't force it, has a 2-to-1 interception, touchdown to interception ratio, which is great, especially in D5. I think this team is in good hands. I actually expected them to be a little bit better, to be honest. There was a few games I picked them to win where they didn't.
Well, look, that loss to Heisenberg's a really head scratcher, right? Not only the loss, but like the 40-6 like pounding.
That is very surprising. But then the next week they play the best team in the division. They must have been, yes. They were missing.
And then next week they play the best team in the division.
And they lost by 1 point.
Yeah.
So, and then like now they rallied off 2 straight wins against Cobra Kai.
Burger scoring 36 points.
Gosh, it's tough. I'm going to go C-.
I'm going to go with a B for this team.
Because I expected more. I'm going C-. I like where they're heading now. I think now they've gotten the wins.
Like I said,
piling up. Yeah,
the recency bias, more like what have you done more recently for me? Like I could like close my eyes like week 1, week 2 more so than I could have like what happened this past weekend, and doubling up on TD Hunters, who are a good team led by Galdrick on defense.
Yes,
I'm giving this team a B.
Okay, fair.
They're averaging 22.8 points a game, but like I could see that number really increasing going forward, right? Given that they scored 25 against Fighting Armadillos and 36 and 40 in their last 2 games. Yeah. Who do we got next? Cobra Kai.
New team.
Only got 1 win.
These guys play with a lot of passion. I don't know if you've reffed them.
I've only seen them before and after their games, and they have sick jerseys.
They do have sick
Props
jerseys.
for those sick jerseys.
Yes, they do have sick jerseys. And also, like I said, one of their players on the team got number 45, Rudy in the back. Mad respect.
Yeah, you want to shout out his name?
Yes.
Sami Benuatas.
Good call. How'd you remember it was him?
I just looked it up.
Nice.
I have it right in front of me.
That's cool.
But this team looks like football players. Like they look like
that's exactly what I was going to say.
That have played. I'm really surprised. Like
it's
I had
organization.
no expectations, but I was really surprised to see them like really get like blown out in a couple. Well, not really blown out, but like lose a couple of their games. Only averaging 12 points a game. Like we know that like flag is hard at the beginning, but it's all about offense, right? Like in this division, you should be scoring more than 2 touchdowns a game. They're only giving up 26 a game, so that's kind of reassuring, right? If you could give up less than 30,
that's because they're athletic.
Yeah. Maybe you gotta simplify the offensive playbook without me knowing what the offensive playbook is. Stick to maybe 3 or 4 plays, run those plays. I see they got a bunch of guys who have thrown passes.
Yes.
They have 5 guys with at least 16 attempts on this team.
Yeah.
Sony seems to be their main quarterback, 3 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. It's not gonna win you many games.
They sometimes switch quarterbacks throughout the course of the game. I remember reffing one of their games what they did.
Kind of like Sooners 45 or
it's true, or
more trick plays.
Or any QB roulette team.
Yeah.
With these guys, I think it's just about being more organized. They've unfortunately shown up to games late more than once throughout the season. And then when they come, it's almost like backyard football. And of course, that's like, okay, and you guys are here to have fun. But this league is getting more and more competitive. I know it's Division 5, but if you guys come expecting to rely on your athleticism to win games, it's not going to work. And I think like later on in the season, I do have higher expectations for these guys because they're good players. They are ballers. They have a lot of a good mix of speed, guys with sure hands, good route running, and they're just an athletic team. So I'm gonna go with the D. They did win their first game of the season. I expect them to win at least another game this season and potentially fight for a playoff spot. These guys come back consistent.
For a playoff spot is going to be hard.
It will be. But look, right now they're only like 1.5 games behind. They played against a few good teams to end off the season. But if these guys continue to play flag in MFL, they'll get better.
Yeah, given my knee injury, I can't really play, so I like helping teams play. So if you guys want to write to one of us to give you some tips on offense, I'll give you a few right now. Because like looking at the 3 to 10 TD to interception ratio, and you talking about backyard football, it's probably a team that likes to go deep, likes to chuck the ball down, and likes to play like a fun style of offense, right? If you guys want to just have fun, that's great. But if you want to win some games, you got to keep it simple. I don't know if Dave is watching right now. I don't know if he watched the D5 segment, but if he is, sorry to give out one of your plays. The team that just recently won the D1 championship runs this play like half the time. It's literally all hooks with your snapper slanting right or left. It's very, very simple. Your snapper is going to be open 99% of the time. For an easy 3-4 yards, he breaks a tackle, he'll gain maybe 10 yards, right? So
Dave, did you give him permission? Like, this is copyright. What is this nonsense?
I mean, everyone knows it the same way that like Outlaws half the time run that triple slants, right? But the triple slants may be a little more complicated to run, and you need the receivers to be more on the same page.
Yeah.
So I'm giving you everyone run all hooks. You can even make your snapper run all hooks. You'll for sure have a receiver open. Just look at the gap between the receiver and the closest and the furthest defender, and just throw it to him right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
You want to complicate it a little bit, make your snapper drag right or left. Like literally 1-2 yard drag. Don't go behind the receivers. He'll be wide open. Trust me on this. You could run that play half the time. It's not a fun offense, but it's an efficient offense. And in Division 1, it's all about efficiency, right? And execution. And I'm talking about a team that just won a D1 championship, shocked the world by winning it, and that's the play they were running. I think it's the play they run every single game, first play of the game.
And winning games is fun.
Yeah, winning games is definitely fun, right?
Yep.
Anything you want to add on that?
I think Terry said it best. I think it's you guys have athletes, and if you guys want to run all hooks, run all hooks. And obviously, it doesn't mean take away the deep ball. Right? Like not many teams throw it deep in this division. So if you're able to throw it deep and throw it deep consistently, sprinkle it in there, kind of set up the short to.
Well, that's the fun part of it. You run this play like every second play. Then at one point, one of your hook is doing the hook and go. It's gonna catch the defense off guard, right?
Bye.
Yeah, watch every Division 5 team run this play now. I mean, I've also, I think, told Goldrick and Just Lane about this play. So
yeah,
it's so simple. Like when I started playing quarterback, I would literally use that play like every single play. Like it's always, you make sure your snapper has sure hands, and like it's very simple to gain yards that way. And there's nothing more exciting than being like 2nd and 7 or like for 2nd and like 15, getting sacked or whatever.
Totally.
You know?
Or throwing a pick.
Yeah. Heisenberg.
So I ref their game against Vultures where they lost 44-13. You can tell these guys have talent, and they're led by their quarterback. I'm not sure if he's the captain of the team, Ian Carlo Herrera. Good guy and great leader for this team.
I believe Alex is the captain.
Okay, Alex is the captain.
It was a free agent team last season.
Okay.
Glad to see those free agent teams come back, make jerseys. So you get a big, whatever grade I'm going to give you, getting a plus just for that.
And it's a nice jersey there.
Yeah.
For Heisenberg. I'm going to go with a D+. So
I'm going to go with 2.
Yeah, I'm going to go with D+. I think that, like, look, their first win of the season is impressive, right? Winning 40-6 against the last call, so I just as a team up and coming in Division 5. And look, they've lost to good teams like Phoenix, like Armadillos, TD Hunters now who are on a bit of a roll. I think with these guys, it's more playing the entire game, and like what I mean by that is sometimes like the game I refed, it was a bit of a blowout. You got to finish strong. You got to play like every play like it's 0-0, and regardless of the score. And I know it's tough when you're let down. You want to kind of chuck it deep, and you want to play aggressive on defense. Like that's okay, but it's a long game. Use every snap to get better. And I could see this team stringing off a few wins. They play against Misfits. They play Sour Peeps last game of the season. They play Mimosa Crew. So potentially a few games there they could pull off with a W.
I'm also going with the D+. Jorge and Tristan being their leading receivers with 3 and 4 touchdowns apiece. Angie being the tackling machine on defense. Ian, their quarterback, having 5 sacks in 5 games, which is great for Division 5. Maybe you should rest up on defense to run more on offense. I got a couple of glimpses from them, and he is a very mobile quarterback. Mm-hmm. Don't be afraid to use those legs to your advantage. If you want some simple plays, just rewind a little bit, see what I told Cobra Kai, and use those plays too. But I'm glad to see this team come back. I'm glad to see them making jerseys. I hope this team builds off of last season and continues to play together, because you're only going to get better, right? A lot of these players are new to flag football altogether, right? And it's not it's a complicated sport, right? So yeah.
Well said.
Fighting Armadillos, who I picked against.
You did.
Yes.
Wrongly. I'm gonna go A+++. They are 6-1, Terry.
Well, they lost a game. You can't get like 3 pluses when you're not undefeated.
I'm going A+++. Point differential of 119. This team is hot. They've lost their first game of the season, rallied off, I believe it's 6 straight wins. Yeah. That's the reason I'm going to go 8 with a bunch of pluses, because right now they found their rhythm, and Pio has really found his rhythm on all the teams he's quarterbacking here. You look at the ball distribution for these guys. You got Philippe Champortier, 30 catches. You got Leonidas, 30 catches as well. Then you got Aaron, 26 catches. Great ball distribution for these guys. Look at touchdowns. 5, 5, 7, 4, 5, 3. Who do you cover? Yeah. Right? A lot of guys getting a good amount of catches.
And that's all thanks to Pio's quarterback play, right? Because he's clearly the best quarterback in this division, I think.
By far. 30 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, runs the ball when he needs to. And these guys are good. Philip Champentier, a guy that we're going to be talking about a lot more on these podcasts, 4 interceptions on the season. These guys are good, and talk about recency bias, them manhandling the Vultures, which was a surprise.
Who are my favorites at this point, right?
Yeah, I picked Fighting Armadillos. I thought it was going to be a one-score game. It wasn't. I think
from Vultures, right, to me. Like, explain to me what happened in that game.
Yeah, it's a little bit surprising.
I'm going to go with an A for them. Right now, it's a little concerning. They're over the cap. Their roster is over the cap. You see that in red right there?
I do.
So a little problem there. I don't know if Peo's the captain or Mike Jazz, but they better get that fixed before next game, right?
Yeah, true.
When they played against Vultures, let's take a look at that. What are you mumbling?
No, I was just thinking. This is very similar to the Pocket Rockets team.
Yes.
Like I'm looking at the players. I'm like, I thought I clicked on Pocket Rockets by accident. Like, it's almost identical.
Yeah. Kevin ain't too happy about that. You're clearly the team to beat. The target's on your back right now. You deserve that by the way you destroyed Vultures last game. Averaging 30 points a game, giving up only 13. You have arguably 3 easier games coming up against TD Hunters, Heisenbergs, Cobra Kai. You should finish the season 9-1. Proud of you guys.
Good stuff, honestly. And they're hot with a capital H.
The Lesniaks at 4-2.
I like this squad.
And one of those losses, a forfeit loss where Mike Lesniak was not even there, and he got some last minute subs that made them bust the cap. So this team would have been 5-1, right?
Well, let's say 4-1. No, you have to eliminate that game.
All right.
Yeah, because you kind of assume they were
only
going to
loss
win.
coming to Fighting Armadillos, beating Last Calls, Cobra Kai, Sourpuss was the forfeit loss, and beating Mimosa Crew. So you can't say they really won any like big games yet. They're playing Heisenberg's, Phoenix, Last Calls, and Vultures to end the season. So Phoenix and Vultures will be
I'm sure
2 games that I want to see. Like, that could be the potential fight for the number 2 seed or 3 seed. This team's led by Mike Lesniak, who 13 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, rocket of an arm.
Yes.
He's only completing 45% of his passes, but when he completes them, they go for on average.
That's what
14,
I mean.
14
So
yards.
like, I think that's chill. You know what I mean? Like,
like their leading receiver Zach has 17 catches for 330 yards. Quick math, that's almost 20 yards a catch, and 8 touchdowns. Right?
Yeah.
On defense, Lesniak leading the way with 20 tackles, and Zach 13 interceptions. Clearly the MVP of this team, right?
Yes. Maybe you have Division 5 as a whole.
Yeah.
I'm going A-. I like the squad. I really do.
I'm also going with like and not to copy, but I'm also going with an A-.
Yeah.
The minus is because that forfeit loss. Yeah, get your shit together.
Yeah.
But this team, I did not predict them to be this strong and this scary.
Free agent team, right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure free agent team.
Yeah.
Who do we got next? TD Hunters.
It's another team I like.
Another free agent team, I believe.
And I've picked against them a few times where they've won. I've learned my lesson the last few times. I did pick them to win games.
Impressive wins against Vultures, Phoenix. That's where the impressive wins stop. Losses to the Lesniaks and the Last Calls. They beat Sour Peeps. They beat Heisenberg. Averaging about the same number of points they're giving up. But they have their 2 games over 500. They're winning games, right?
They are winning games. Big test this week against the Armadillos. Going to see what happens in that game. This is a team led by Goldrick. Solid team. Obviously got our boy Michael on the team, who's only getting better and better.
Yeah.
I like the energy of this team, and I like that they keep it simple. They have a solid defense. Goldrick is later on in the season, he continues to make the right reads. I'm gonna go with a B.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with a B.
I'm gonna go with a B plus. Michael leading this team with 4 interceptions.
Yeah.
9 PDs. On offense, they're led by their 2 Spanish-speaking players, Zenias and Gabriel. 104 and 127 yards respectively, a pair of touchdowns each. Michael's also leading the team in touchdowns with 3. So they got a good trio of players.
They do.
And a good depth on this team. They are having fun. Godred's a great captain for this team.
Yes, he really is.
I'm happy for him. It's always fun when you see like a more experienced player playing quarterback for the first time. Reminds me of myself a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So keep it up. Keep doing what you're doing. Kiss. Keep it simple.
Last time I said it, you looked at me like I was...
Yeah, no, I know.
Keep it simple, silly, but you can say sweetie.
Sweetie, I'm saying it in a nice way this time.
Nice.
And up next we got Vultures. Last but not least, right?
Hey, boys.
Make sure we did everyone?
Yes. This was the wrong week to do.
Especially with my recency bias right now. Like, I'm only looking at last week. So they put a string of 4 straight wins.
Ask me if I'm worried.
I'll ask you that in a second. I want to see who they beat and who they lost to against. They beat Mosa Crew, they beat Heisenbergs, they beat Phoenix, and they beat Cobra Kai. So they beat the teams they were supposed to beat.
Yeah.
They lost to the team they were, in your opinion, supposed to lose against. Are you worried?
No.
Even given the way they lost? Because one of the things that I was vouching for them last week was that Philip was very good at protecting the ball. Yes. He currently has a 25-5 TD to interception ratio.
Even after that game, right?
Yeah, that's after that game.
Yeah.
And in this game, I think it was not pretty. He threw 3 out of his 5 interceptions in that game, right? So he did not protect the ball. He did not throw for 100 yards. And they were not in this game at all from beginning to finish, right? I'm still waiting for that recap, so you guys let me know what happened. 23-6 at halftime. I'm a little worried if I'm thinking of it in the picture that they want to win the championship, right? They're not here to just finish second place, to lose in the finals or semifinals. They're here to win the championship. If that's their goal, I'm a little worried, right?
I'm not. Yeah, totally. I'm not saying I'm not worried because they'd be happy finishing in second or place losing the semis. Even with the championship aspirations this team has, I'm not worried, and I think it's more of a gut feeling. I think these guys will get their SHIT together. I think they took this team too lightly. They were winning games fairly easily. They had lost their first game of the season. They were rallying past teams. Philip was dancing over rushers. Their defense was playing great, getting interceptions left and right. They hadn't been tested. Mm-hmm. They got tested in this game, and they got a big wake-up call. I think it's perfect time for them that it happened at this point in the season. Yeah. Better now than in the playoffs. And I think they lost this game. I do think Fighting Armadillos are the better team, but I think that they lost this game because they took them too lightly. If they play again in the finals and Vultures win, I wouldn't be surprised. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I see the silver lining being the slap in the face wake up call, and they going like
I think it's more of that.
Their last 4 games, right? And they could end the season 8-2. This team is led by Anthony Drysdale and Riley Casey, almost both averaging 300 yards. Having 300 yards on the season, 7 and 8 touchdowns apiece. Clearly, the 1A and 1B receivers for Philip this season.
And defensively, they got a bunch of ball hawking safeties. Yeah, where they have how many?
Rarely has 6 interceptions in 6 games, so I'd give him the ball hawking crown as of right now.
Yeah, true. Bunch of PDs too for these guys. Yeah, they'll be okay. They'll be okay. I want to see.
Definitely be okay.
I want to see how they bounce back next week.
But please don't disappoint me again when I pick you and everyone in the media team picks against you. And I'm the only one praising the Vultures, and then you guys give me a dud like that. At least fight.
I think that's one of the only games I got right last week.
Last time I had done that was when I chose what was that team called? Night Triangles. They came to me in person and apologized.
Yeah, I think it was more like they already talked about that, right? They lost the game because it was a game they needed to lose for me to jump you in the picks. That's what happened.
Oh, Well, we'll see about that. So we did all D5?
Yeah, good stuff, Terry. My God, this is going to be long.
I told you. So, Division 4.
Div 4. Let's start with the randoms at 6.
That's a nice spot to start.
Yeah, 3-3, minus 20 point differential. I'm glad that Rob is playing quarterback because I wasn't there when he was the cream of the cream, the crop of the crop.
Yeah.
Cream of the crop.
I don't know if the Division 1 teams are listening right now, but now we talk about the Maxes and the Steves.
Right.
And the Doms, but it was the Rob and the Max and the Steve and the Dom.
Which is really cool that he came back to play. They've been in a lot of tight games this year, Terry. They won their first game by 1. They won their third game of the season by 7. They've lost by 6. They've won by 6, and they've lost by 6. So talk about nail-biting finishes for these guys.
I'm going to have to go with the C for this team because this is Division 4. They're playing 500. I know Rob didn't play for a long time, but they have athletes on this team. Eric Emo is a stud. I believe one of their top players got injured. I'm not sure which one it is, but I know one of their top 3 got injured. Mathieu Dupuis is also a stud. Mathieu Graton as well. These are players that have played in higher divisions back in the day in the MFL. I know they've been out of the league for quite some time, but they didn't come in Division 2 or 3. They joined Division 4, right? And they're playing 500. I'm going with a solid C. I expected a little bit better from them. I expected at least a winning record.
I'm going to go with a C as well, just because I think with Rob at QB and the receivers they should be scoring more than 18 points a game.
Yeah.
That's 3 TDs a game. You got to be putting out more points than
that.
That
Kraken offense was a powerhouse. Well,
was on the team.
Yeah, they also had a great defense. So they were a great team all around.
But this team is dangerous.
I can see them being a dark horse.
Yeah, right back at you. Drama Club.
At
I never know what to make of this squad.
I never know. Just looking at their record, I'd be entitled to say a D. Let's see who they played. They lost to Cyclones. They beat Revenants. They beat Idaho. They lost to Randoms, lost to Bin. I'm going to go with a C-/D+.
Yeah.
This team should be better, right? Like, this team should be better. They lost their star receiver in our boy...
Toma.
No, he played with Thunder Buddies.
Quinton.
Yeah, Quinton.
Yeah.
Thank you. That name was on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
So they lost Quinton, their star receiver. But they have Nico and Ben leading the way. With almost look at the distribution here. This is a little sad. When you look at the reception distribution.
Lord have mercy.
Nico and Ben have
goodness.
like 23 and 26 catches, 227, 281 yards. If you look at the touchdown, Nico has 9. No one else has more than 2. No one has double-digit catches. No one has more than like 30-something receiving yards. This is a problem.
Do you think Nico Potvin and Noemi Le Potvin are related?
No, because it's Le Potvin.
But like how
Well, it's as if like...
crazy is that? Power and Le Power?
Like Power and Powers. Or would you guys be related if one guy's last name is Powers and your last name is Power?
I wouldn't be surprised, yeah.
I wouldn't think so. So yeah, this is a little sad. Like it's disturbing. Like it's making me anxious right now looking at this, and I want to change the page because like you should not have like that.
I would say
especially in a division where you're mostly playing for fun and you're playing with a lot of friends.
Yeah, as long as you're winning, I think it's chill. But they're not, and I think even if you're undefeated at this point with that, this is the mindset I have of like playoff time is it's tough to sustain this, right? Like it's going to be tough to sustain this.
Some D because of that.
Just like I'm gonna go with a C-. But just like a running quarterback, Terry, like we talked about, we see guys running and winning games as long as they're winning games. No, but what I was saying is it's
sustainable.
It is sustainable, but it's tough. For me, it's like the higher divisions you play. I know this is Division 4, but it becomes predictable. And I think that yes, while you are a running quarterback, like I think that come playoff time, you would run a heck of a lot, but you wouldn't run just to run. You would run if it was open.
I would run more in playoffs than in the season.
The
2 championships I won, I ran like more times than I completed passes, I think.
Well, you were a terrible example of what I'm trying to say. But yeah, get the ball to more people.
Yeah, okay. Idaho are the Pimps. Given this team has higher-ish division experience, I'm
unimpressed.
Surprised that they're 2-3. +1 differential. Kind of had QB roulette going on over here. David Brisson was clearly, I think, the better quarterback they had used. Played a game as receiver, played a game at quarterback. A bunch of players on this roster. Eric, who we cannot pronounce his last name. You want to give it another shot?
Eric.
He's supposed to come to the field. He was supposed to help us, but I didn't
see him. My buddy Eric. My God, they have a lot of guys. They got Alex Duplisky. Okay, where's my buddy Eric?
The first guy in the receiving. That's leading their way with 137 yards.
Oh, yeah, Ace is leading us. Eric Christian Shut.
Let me actually give it a try. Shutchet.
I think I was closer.
Shutchet.
You're way off.
Go again?
Shut.
All right. He's also leading the way, I believe, on defense with 11 tackles, tied with Nicolas Cloutier. But he also has 4 interceptions, leading the team on that. No, sorry. Julian Sabowski's leading the team with 5 interceptions. Eric is a close second.
But even got Sabowski on this team. Yeah, this is...
It's going to be a D for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a D+. Just something a tad bit more generous.
Yeah.
And they have beaten Cyclones, who are a good team, and Randoms, who are a good team. Man, D4 is like... This is like D3, D2, eh? Maybe like D3. Yeah. No, but these are for real, Terry. There's a lot of solid teams in D4.
Yeah. Cyclones are next.
F.
F. They won 2 games.
F.
Okay, go ahead, explain.
So you know how I said that like 20% of my grade is based on expectations?
Yeah.
This 20% exceeds everything at this point in time with these guys.
They started 2-0.
They started 2-0. Lost 3 straight games.
They're averaging 25 points a game. How could you give them an F?
Because they're giving up 31 points a game, Terry.
Okay, go ahead.
Last time I checked, defense wins championships, even though I don't agree with that statement.
It is not true.
I agree with you. It's not true. The way they've lost their last 2 games are very disturbing. 54-26 against Bin Lofat, who have been killing it, yes. And then they lose 39-14 over a team with no logo, Idaho Pimps, a team we just talked about. This is a team that just won the championship, Terry. They were blowing out teams left and right, and yes, Lazar was on that team in their playoff run, but even without Lazar, this team is good.
Yeah.
I could talk about the studs that they have. We all know the studs they have. This is a good team. Yannick at quarterback. I'm not sure what... I haven't repped this team in a while, and I think that even with the other players they have on the team that don't always appear in the stat sheet, they've got a smart team, and they don't really have a weakness, so I'm surprised as to why they're struggling as much as they are. And the fact that they lost 3 straight games, they're riding down that slippery slope, Terry, and it only seems to getting more slippery. I'm going to go with an F.
Yeah, it's crazy because Alex Zabriskie, Jaden Hogan, Eric Ramirez, Stephen Biddle should be like enough
Like,
to
that's
carry this team.
ridiculous.
Kevin
Yeah.
Clark also is a great
With
player.
Yannick at quarterback.
With Yannick at quarterback, quite a crazy QB of the year season, I believe, and D5 last season. His TD to interception ratio is pretty decent. He's averaging over 200 yards a game. Jaden, you gotta get Jaden the ball more. He only has 9 catches in 5 games, right?
He's a speedster.
Averaging 23 yards per catch. You could also like just give him a 1 yard hitch. He'll take it to the house, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna go with a D for this team because they did win 2 games. I still have hope for this team. Next game against Pocket Rockets, I wouldn't be completely shocked if they surprise us.
I would be.
All right.
Just by the way they're playing.
Airborne. 0-6 after having the 1 seed last year. We know Guillaume has that injury. He won't be back this season, I believe. It's been Ryan and Baby Menard splitting the QB duties. Benoit Menard actually leading the way as a receiver as well. Almost 200 yards, 6 touchdowns. Ryan McSweeney is second. So, like, their top 2 quarterbacks are also the top 2 receivers, right? I think you got to stick to one guy and ride him all the way to the end, right?
1,000%. Guys, Terry said it. You got to stick to one quarterback, develop him, baby him.
Benoit and Ryan also leading the way on defense. It's like a 2-man show on this team. 5 interceptions and 6. But they have great guys on this team, man. Like Isaac, Gregory, David, Jeremy, Hassan too. Greg Leslie was on this team. Like this team is a really good team. Like they should not be winning 0 games. Whoever's quarterbacking this team.
That's what I mean.
Like they could literally have anyone on their team quarterbacking, and they should win at least 1 game.
Even if they play defense the entire game, they should be winning games.
Yeah, like the amount of talent on this roster is crazy, and it just goes. They finished first at like I think 7-3 record in the spring.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the end of their schedule is not like doing them any favors, right?
No. I'm going F with several minuses.
Yeah, it's a little disappointing.
Yeah.
Pocket Rockets up next, or should we call them Fighting Armadillos?
Or should we call them Team That's on Fire?
Yeah.
Okay. You go first.
4-0. I'm giving this team a straight A. I did expect great things from them, but
4-0. Isn't Armadillos 6-1?
No, we're doing Pocket Rockets.
No, I know, but isn't that crazy? They play 3 more games.
They are 6-1. You sure?
Yeah, I think so.
Good check.
It's MFL. I mean, how could we be
I thought they
surprised?
were. I don't think they played 7 games. I think they're 5-1. You were in the standings.
Yeah, shoot.
Oh shit, they did play
7 games.
All right. Well, it has to be something that Mike jazzed up for the schedule, right?
Nice.
So 4-0, averaging 37 points a game. Like that's an offensive juggernaut, right? Like you're not gonna lose many games when you're averaging close to 40 points a game. And their defense ain't so bad either, giving up only 24 a game. Led by Peo, who 21 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. The all-star of this team is clearly Alexis Ferrand, right? D1 all-star on Gold Cook, coming in 27 catches in 4 games for 365 yards, 9 touchdowns. His presence is probably not only felt on the stat sheet, but like as a leadership role with this team and like helping that team offensively, defensively. Like he plays on a great offensive and defensive team, right?
Yes.
So having a player like that on your team, regardless if it's producing or not, is obviously going to give your team a boost.
100%. Pretty crazy how they're undefeated and they won their last game 31-30 against Airborne,
yes.
a team we just gave a very poor grade to.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with an A.
An ugly win is...
Yeah, better than a pretty loss. Touche.
There you go.
Took it right out of my mouth. I'm going to go with an A and not an A+ because I think they should be... Well, I think Airborne's a good team, so it's like... But I think they should be winning by more against a team like Airborne, but it's championship or bust for this squad too. Very similar to Fighting Armadillos. I like what Pio's doing. The weapons on this team are ridiculous. They're nonsense. Look at Philippe Champatier. I think I threw 3 interceptions a time I set for evidence. He's just tall, super, super strong hands. Like every single one of these players, Terry, can play in higher divisions.
Yeah.
Again, it's championship or bust for this squad.
I agree with that. And if there is a team that could have something to say about that, it has to be Bin Lofat.
Man, are they on a roll?
3-1. Only having played 4 games. Their only loss comes to the undefeated Pocket Rockets. Beating Phoenix in a close one, destroying Cyclones, and beating Drama Club. They're led by David Michaud, they have a couple of quarterbacks played, but David Michaud is also quarterback in their D3 squad, showing that he's a higher division player. Actually, I believe he only maybe quarterbacked 1. I'm not sure how many games he quarterbacked, actually. I don't know who their actual quarterback is.
Because like one of the games I saw, Albert Nguyen was quarterback, and then a different game.
Yeah.
If David Michaud,
surprising to see that they have 2 quarterbacks that have as many touchdowns as interceptions, and they won both those games. Right? They have a 3-1 record at that point, right? Small Antoine is a stud.
Yes, speedster.
Very quick feet, 170 yards. David Michaud actually is probably not their quarterback because he has 5 touchdowns and almost 156 yards in 4 games.
I'm going A.
On defense, they're doing it with the rusher by committee approach. They got Mathieu with 3 sacks, Michael with 2, and Simone with 1. Simone leading the way on defense with 3 interceptions. I'm going to go with an A-.
Yeah, I was debating between that, but I'm going with A. Based on that big win against Cyclones, and they're winning games.
You said Cyclones were shit, so.
Yeah, I know, but it's like they're shit, but not shit. Like, it's weird, bro. And then Drama Club beating them 25-13. They've had a bye, right? They didn't play in week 5. They played last week. I'm going with an A.
Let's go with Phoenix.
Okay, Phoenix. You can start us off.
How you feeling? We're in.
My God, bro, do we have a bathroom break? Okay, let's go. Let's keep rolling. Yeah, preach.
Okay, Phoenix.
Yeah.
They're sitting currently in the 3rd place. I think their D4 team is doing better than the D5 team.
Yep.
At 3-2 right now, plus 23 differential. Rob leading the way for this team, 156 yards, 3 touchdowns. They also got Stu, who made a highlight reel catch in that highlight video. Oh my God!
For real,
you're really doing that playmaker name on the back of his jersey justice, right?
Talk about strong hands.
Big number 88. I'm surprised Nick doesn't have more catches for them, or yards, or touchdowns. Right?
I think, from what my guess is that Kevin's trying to move the ball around.
Okay.
I think develop more of a rapport with the receivers.
And he is doing better with the TD to interception ratio, 11-7. A lot less sacks taken, higher completion percentage, almost getting that 70. So D4 Kevin, thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
I'm gonna give them I'd say a B to B minus.
I'm going B minus.
It's kind of where I expect them to be.
Yeah.
I'm over that narrative that they should be the best team in the division.
Me
because
too.
He's been playing there for long. Like, I kind of gave up on it. Like, they don't got the target on their back. It's not his division to lose anymore. He proved us wrong many, many times with that. Maybe the no pressure underdog mentality is going to help him this year. They have an impressive win against Mustard Tigers. And they have an impressive win against Randoms. That's why I'm giving them the B. They lost to Ben Low Fat. They lost to Pocket Rockets, who are not arguably the 2 best teams of the division.
Right.
So yeah, I think they're right where they are. Mustard Tigers, a team of their caliber, beating them 32-13 is very impressive.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I said for the D5 squad, like, he likes having fun, getting everyone involved. So props for that.
Yeah.
What did you give them?
I give them a B minus. I think. Yeah, B minus.
Anything you want to add?
No, let's time for the championship this year, Phoenix. D4, D5, you got to win one of them.
Revenants.
Okay, Revenants. I quarterbacked 2 games for this squad. Yeah, I quarterbacked the one game where I played like ass,
and the one you played like well,
and then the one where I won the next week. We won the next week against Mustard Tigers.
So you grade yourself. Go ahead.
Okay, so we're sitting at 3-2. Big one against first game of the season. Against. Idaho Ida Pimps, a team that I like, even though they haven't been performing super well. Then they lose that tight game to Drama Club. They lose a game where I played like straight butt, beating Mustard Tigers, winning a close one against Airborne, even though Marvin threw a ton of picks in that game. He also got a ton of picks as a defender. I'm going to go with a solid C+.
How come your interceptions are not there when you look at their stats? Like, it only shows that game.
What do you mean?
Like, it doesn't show your stats of like when you sucked.
Well, I mean, that's not paying off the guys. Come on now. I'm going to go with a C+. Did I say C+? I think it's a C+. I'm going C+.
That's weird.
This is a team that prides itself on its defense. They have a good defense, but they have some stars on this squad too. I think Marvin has a very good rapport with most of his receivers. Gavin is a stud in this division. And they got playmakers all across the board. And I think that while this team isn't favored to necessarily win a championship, we love Marvin. There's a lot of pressure on Marv. If he has a good game, this team can beat anybody.
The way they ended last season and they won that playoff game, like, they could beat anybody.
Yes.
Right? And Marvin could just tuck it in and run whenever he wants, right?
Yeah.
Already 2 touchdowns in 3 games on the season. This team's led by Gavin on offense, 218 yards, 5 touchdowns. Jeremy Desrosiers is also a great player. So is Olivier.
Diana too, solid hands.
Yeah, Gavin also leading the way on defense with 4 picks. Well, that's 1 more than Marvin, so that's impressive.
Hey, there you go.
So I'm going to go with a B for this team because they have a winning record, something I don't think they had at this point in time last season.
Right.
Minus 20 though, so they got to make sure they shore up that defense a little bit. But yeah, I'm low-key impressed with this team.
Yeah, I am too. Good stuff, guys. Good group of guys and girls too.
Mustard Tigers last one?
Yes. BD randoms. I find Mustard Tigers a hard team to talk about every year. I don't know why that is. Like, are they good? Are they not good? Or are they just Mustard Tigers?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they're just Mustard Tigers.
Yeah.
David Brisson, unsung hero on this team right now, 27 receptions, 248 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Poof.
Brian's having a much better season this year, going 12 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, 540 yards in 3 games.
Yeah. And you look at this squad, 27 points for, 21 against.
That's pretty decent, right? They beat the Randoms, they beat the Airborne, they beat Idaho. Losing to Revenants and Phoenix. I could argue this team could have been undefeated right now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to have to go with the C because this team has been playing for a long time. We know they're complaining about getting older, but you're also getting more experience as you get older, right?
Yeah.
So I see this team as a C. I was expecting them to be, looking at their schedule, they could have very easily been undefeated, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go C+. We need to see more interceptions from the squad. Takeaways are key in flag, and they don't have a player with over 2 interceptions. They have a good team. They have the athletes to do it, but I think, if this team wants to be taken more seriously, you got to start taking the ball away on defense.
Yeah.
But solid team and middle of the package.
Yeah. All right, so up next, Division 3?
Division 3. Let's start with our good old buddies in the Iron Wolves.
All right. They're 2-3 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Impressive win they just came off of, right?
Yes, very.
Not only beating Master Chiefs, handing them their first loss, but also the way they beat Master Chiefs, right?
Yep.
41-12 without John, right? Was Ziggy throwing that game?
Yes, he was throwing that game.
Going 6 touchdowns, no interceptions, 240 yards. Was Ryan supposed to throw in this game, or was it they split? Ryan and Pio had 1 game each when you weren't there?
Yeah, I think it was more that. I don't think we had set in stone. Ryan threw the first game and decided Pio was going to throw the second one. Yeah. So
Josh being there helped tremendously, right? 7 catches, 79 yards, 3 touchdowns in this game. Only his second game as an Iron Wolf this season.
He still got the oomph.
The what?
The oomph.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
He still plays Division 1, right?
Yeah, the oomph.
Well, John and Chris leading the way for this team, right? Hard to think that this team has a losing record with those 2 guys on the roster.
It is.
Then they have Alex with 11 catches, 115 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Being that 3rd receiver for them.
Mm-hmm.
Starting to see Mercer only played 2 games, so I don't know if he's a full-time player on that team.
Not officially. I think they're still trying to figure that out.
Okay, he's subbing in when he can.
Exactly, yeah.
So who's their full-time snapper then? Is it Patricia?
It's supposed to be, yes.
Okay.
I believe so.
Okay. John's still leading the team with rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. So that deserves a plus right there.
Pigs can fly.
But for real, this team, with the amount of D1 players they have, the experience they have, should not be 2-3 right now.
Definitely not.
Yes, they lost to Idaho, who's a great team.
Ross lost. I got their only win of the season against them.
Yeah. They split with Panache. I got to go with a D+ right now.
I'm with you.
Yeah. The reassuring thing, though, is that they've been in a lot of tight games, right?
Yeah.
The differential is minus 17.
Mm-hmm.
They're somehow currently holding the 4th place seed.
Yeah.
I have 8 teams, so you'd think they're not that bad, but that just goes to show if they're playing that poorly and we're grading them that bad, and they're in 4th place right now, it's reassuring, right?
Yeah, for sure. No, they have a whole season ahead of them, but their championship aspirations I wouldn't say put on hold, but I think took a big step in the right direction after beating Master Chiefs. But I think they got to keep it rolling.
All right, go Double Dippers.
Gosh, this is another team I find that difficult to.
It's the team I hate the most picking my picks, man.
I know. It's kind of like a raw sauce pick for me. Lost this past weekend to Master Chiefs with Ryan at quarterback playing a good game. They've had some impressive wins. Well, they beat Rossos, they beat Invictus G. This team has to be better than 2-4, Terry. With the amount of talent this team has, with Leon at quarterback, I'm gonna go D-.
Sean Kennedy, Manu, Marco, Zabliski, Nico Potvin, this team, Rich.
To me, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, this team could be the powerhouse of the division right now.
They really should be.
And
I'm going D+.
I'm going D, not even a plus.
Yeah,
just based on what I said. Look at the roster.
Yeah.
How you were saying those D4 teams look like D3 teams?
Yeah.
Well, when you look at this team, this looks like a D2 team, right?
Agreed. Yeah.
Invictus G sitting at 1-3, only a minus 26 differential, which is pretty decent considering they're 2 games under 500, right?
That's true, and we think that it will be Dagger quarterbacking this team moving on?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think he was just subbing in that game for them.
All right.
They didn't play this past weekend.
No.
Losing double dippers, like the score is not a very good indicator of that game because like I ref that game and it was very close. It was a lot closer than what the score indicates.
They lost to good teams, right?
Yeah.
Idaho, a good team. Ben, a good team. Double Dippers, a solid team. Beating
I'm gonna go with a
Panache.
C for this team just because of that roster and consistency that we knew they'd have coming into the season. Like they have a huge roster, right? They had different quarterbacks play. They are averaging over 23 points a game. You want to see that points against drop from 30 to like those mid-20s, low 20s.
Yeah.
They have the athletes across the board to have a
That's
dominant
the thing.
defense, right?
Right.
Led by Martin Love, a.k.a. Martin Robert. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you give them?
I'm going to go with exactly what you said, a C. I'm going C.
Yeah. Les Panaches.
Okay. Panache sitting at 1-3.
Only scoring 85 points in 4 games.
Yeah.
That's a little low for them, right? Because
It is.
they have that explosive offense.
This team has ballers. Felix.
Surprising, it's the only one receiver with over 100 yards, right?
Yeah, that's true. Felix does like to tuck the ball and run quite a bit, so I guess that's why the receivers are getting a little bit less balls. But this team has athletes here. They've been playing for a while. They're
They
smart.
have that chemistry, right?
They're a young, athletic crew. I'm going to go with the D. I did expect more from this team. I think they won the games they should have won. It would have been nice to see them upset a few teams in some of their losses. But I think the receivers got to get more involved in this offense.
I agree with the D. I think I was going to go with a higher grade because I was going to use the excuse that the division got stronger, but they're part of that division for a while now, and they should have gotten stronger with that division.
Right, exactly.
So I'm going to go with the D as well.
Yeah.
Your buddy's Rossas. This has to be an F, right?
Yeah.
Even though they got that one win, I think it's still an F. Like
It's an F.
1-5. Like this team has probably the most playoff experience in this division from past seasons, right? They've been in a final, they've been in a semifinal, losing to back-to-back champions. Antoine Theroux leads the way with almost 200 yards. He only has, I guess he's not rushing full-time because he has 2 sacks in 4 games. And he normally averages like 3 sacks a game. They have Nathaniel who has 5 sacks in 4 games. Ludovic has been struggling with a lot of interceptions, right?
Yeah.
I want to set interception number down. I don't know what's happened to this team, right?
I think they got to get into more of a rhythm offensively, whether it's keep it simple or rely on your athletes. Like, they have a good squad, right? And they add Gab Boucher from the Iron Wolves in this one. Yeah, Ludovic, just keep it simple. Run like the plays that you're talking about, the all hooks, the slant underneath, and then go deep when need be. I think it's with athletes and speed, it's fun to go deep, but not when you're throwing interceptions and you have like a low success rate. Yeah. This team is too good. I got to give the Rosshaus an F. It's similar to last year's grading that I had for them.
Yeah, especially.
Season's not over. They'll still got 4 games left.
Bin sitting at 5-1, currently in that number 1 seed. Because they beat Idaho in that head-to-head game. Lost to Master Chiefs. What do you got to say for them?
I like the squad.
It's a very similar squad to their D4 team, right? But David Michaud at quarterback, 22 touchdowns, 12 interceptions.
I think they're quietly the number 1 seed. Not a team that we talk about as being the powerhouse. I think now they've implemented themselves as a powerhouse in this division. 74 plus minus differential, plus
That's
74.
Great.
That's amazing. It's going almost 30 points a game. I like this squad. I'm going to go with an A. I honestly think that this team, the sky's the limit for them. I don't even think they've reached their peak yet.
Yeah, I'm going to go with an A as well. I think this team is, I think they just squeezed into that 8th seed last year in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, I believe they just made the playoffs.
They had beaten Jagerbomb and they lost them in the playoffs.
Yes. Got crushed to them.
Yeah, well, they also crushed them in the season, right? And we were saying it could have been like the matchup Jagerbomb did not want to have.
Exactly.
Well, this year, Jagerbomb aren't there anymore, and Ben are currently holding that 1 seed. So I'm going to go with an A as well.
Yeah, I like this squad.
Idaho currently with, I think, the best offense in the division, averaging 43 points a game.
Oh my gosh,
and that's with their star
bananas.
quarterback Brady missing 2 games, I believe.
Yeah, I believe Chris quarterbacked a game, and I think it was Iggy that quarterbacked
Wasn't
this.
it Chris?
Chris
quarterbacked the loss.
Yes, and the Iggy quarterback against Panache.
Let me take a look.
But yeah, 43 points a game. That could be the most in all of MFL.
It very well could be. You could check that up after and let them know.
Yeah, probably won't do it, but
this team has I can't give them an A+ because they lost the game, but I'm assuming if Brady was there, maybe that loss could have been a W. It has to be an A for me, right?
I'm wondering if they're giving up 26 points a game because they're scoring so much in offense, so it's like they're
It
scoring
has to be a
quickly
little
and
bit,
then
right? Like the faster you score, the more you're going to give up, right?
right.
Also, like the more you're up, the more you're going to play softer defense.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going with an A as well.
Good. Master Chiefs. Last but not least,
Yeah.
we start with Arnold, yeah?
Yeah, I'll give you this one.
Yeah, you don't want to go and evaluate yourself?
I like this squad. It is a lot of fun playing on this team, Terry. The energy is great.
Yeah.
Not only do we win games, we got balls in the squad. Energy is really good. And it's been a fun season so far.
Another D3 squad that looks like a D2 squad. Only loss coming when missing their Dan Marino, getting blown out by Iron Wolves. Only scoring 12 points. I believe they should have scored much more than 12 points without you, and they should have given up much less than 41 points even without you in that game. Yeah, so impressive back-to-back wins against Double Dippers. Impressive week 1 win against Bin. Defeating Raw Sauce, you had to do it. I'm going to go with an A for this team. Hesitating if I give a plus or a minus. I'm closer to A minus than A plus.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just because you guys are only at plus 30, right? Like that big loss obviously skewed things away for you guys a little bit.
Yeah.
But like, you have not yet played Idaho, and you're playing them twice. Those are gonna be 2 huge matchups.
Yeah.
But you guys exceeded my expectations. I knew you'd be a great team, right? I knew you'd be over 500 for sure. I knew you'd be fighting for that top spot. But like the way you guys have played, obviously led by you, has been like really impressive. So
Yeah.
I'll go with an A.
Thank you. Yeah, good squad. I'm excited for Flight to be back. I feel like I haven't seen the boys in like a month because we had our bye and then didn't play this past weekend.
Yeah. So Division 2?
D2.
We only got 2 left. Let's go. Our picks will not be done live on air.
No, they definitely will not be.
Let's just start out by saying that everyone picked Marvels to win and I picked Étonnante. I was right there. Just like everyone picked Gold Cook and I was the only one picking Centurions.
And
Did you notice that?
Everyone had picked against Vultures and you picked with Vultures.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you win some,
You win
sometimes
some, you lose some. Yep.
Or who do you want to start with? Let's start with Étonnante.
Sure. 3-2.
Oops.
This team is solid. They got, I think, the most athletic team in all of the division. Led by Vincent Dion at quarterback.
Yeah. 2 interceptions. Like, we always knew he had a great arm. We always knew he was athletic. We always knew he could bomb it. But, like, this year's really showing to us that, like, he could play smart football. Not like he was not playing smart football, but like, playing really smart football, right?
He was playing high IQ football.
Yeah.
This is a team, Terry, I feel like could beat anybody but can lose to anybody too.
Seriously.
Do you get that vibe?
Yeah, well, they lost Nice Cities last season. And they beat Outlaws. So, like, that just proves it, right?
I'm going to go with a B.
Their losses came to Jagerbomb and Nice TDs. That Nice TDs one looks like a forfeit, but I think they had lost it anyway. The Jagerbomb loss was only 4 points. They defeated Thunder Buddies. They defeated Marvels twice. I gotta go with a B plus because this team could do a lot of damage, right? And like that loss to Jagerbomb could have been a win very easily. And if they had, I don't know why they lost by forfeit to Nice Cities. I think it had to do with subs. That could have been a win as well, especially now that Nice Cities are hurt at quarterback.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with a B plus for them.
B plus.
Red Raiders.
This is a fun squad.
Sitting at 2-2.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say this team is better than the championship Red Zone team? It's a very different squad.
On paper, yes.
Yeah, on paper for sure, because it's a very different squad. They got Andrew, the Daou brothers.
But I'm not sure they've had
Jerome.
Yes, I'm not sure they had like the team link the Red Zone had last year.
Because that Red Zone team
was a team.
Had been playing together, I think, for 2 or 3
That's
seasons.
That's what I mean.
Had finished number 1 seed, got an upset, had not made the playoffs in 1 season. So like they went through a lot.
Yeah.
And that was what builds chemistry, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like for sure, like everything they went through, and then obviously accumulating with a championship D2 championship win over the rival Outlaws, right?
Yeah.
It's like
that playoff run was nuts.
Yeah, not making the playoffs.
Unbelievable.
So like now I'm seeing them at 2-2. They lost to Marvels and they lost to Thunder Buddies. They beat Nice Cities, they beat Spritz Gang. So that Nice Cities game, I remember watching bits and pieces of it. That was like a Division 1 game. Very, very impressive win, putting up 50. Why don't they play like that more often? Playing against Thunder Buddies, it's our squad, right? Like
yeah.
You weren't there. Steve was not there. That's a game they should have won on paper, right?
Yeah.
I think Thunder Buddies wanted that game more and played a better overall game, and it just goes to show that you don't win the game on paper, right?
100%.
I think maybe Red Raiders saw that Steve wasn't there. You weren't there. They took it maybe more lightly. But all props go to Dave and Thunder Buddies for that win.
Well, Dave had a heck of a game, which is very impressive, and maybe even more impressive to keep Red Raiders to 20 points.
Yeah.
That's like...
Yeah, because this team could score at will, right?
Exactly.
And they're even with that 20-point game, they're still averaging 36 points a game.
Yep.
So they could have very easily been 3-1. I think they should have been 3-1. Marvel's the team that kind of like killed their playoff hopes last year. Remember?
Yes.
The two in overtime that they lost. Maybe they didn't get over that.
But didn't actually kill their playoff hopes, right? Because they won the championship.
Till then.
Yeah.
Right now they're on the outside looking in. The rest of the schedule looks tough. They're playing Thunder Buddies and Red Raiders. And Lieutenant this weekend.
Yep.
So yeah.
I mean, there's no easy game in Div 2, right? So
I'm going to go with a C for them.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a B.
What's making you give them a higher grade?
I think that the loss to Thunder Buddies, it's true, was a little bit questionable, but I think putting up 50 against a defense like Nice TDs, like that's the team I expect more. So I'd be more surprised to see them put up 20 than 50.
I agree,
so I think
that's not what they're doing right now.
Right, it's true.
But
so putting up 37 the game before.
Yeah.
That's going to be tight.
Against Spurs gang, though.
Half a game, big game against Tenant because they're half a game behind Tenant for that last playoff spot now.
Yeah. Next up is Marvels. Crazy. You know how last week we said, how is this team so bad with Tyler leading the league in sacks? Correction. Well, that's actually correct. But to add to that, Jeremy Rooney is leading the team in every statistical category on offense. He's leading the league. The league in receptions, yards, TDs. Max is leading the league in a couple of QB stats. Tyler's leading the league in rushing. Like, this team has probably the most all-stars, and they have one win to show for it.
You won't get a gold star by this, but you're probably the best 1-in-5 team MFL has ever seen.
Yeah, this team has to be I love Max. I think Max is a great quarterback, but given how good he is and his D1 pedigree and everything he's accomplished, to quarterback a D2 team 6 games into the season and only have one win to show for it, even though he's putting up 30 points a game, it has to be a D- for me. And the only reason I'm not giving them an F is because they play Spurs gang twice. So I think their beginning of the season schedule is a lot harder than the end of the season. I'm not counting them out yet. They could go 4-0 in their last 4 games.
Yeah.
And hope to make a play.
That may not even be enough.
Yeah, it might not even be enough.
I think you said perfectly. Same grade.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But yeah, Jeremy Rooney, Tyler, Max have been playing great. Like, how could you have these great of seasons and it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Who's next? Spritz Gang. Man, oh man, oh man. When's the last time Spritz Gang / Bitter Boys won a game? Because they went 0-10 in the spring.
I don't think I hit puberty by then at the time.
Like, this team is averaging
12
points a game.
I like where they're headed, though.
They held Nice to only 19 points.
Right.
But their only score on offense, the pick 6 by Mario, who, by the way, has been truly balling out for this team. Like, the one bright side on this team is Mario. Like, we know he's a great defensive mind, he's a great player, but, like, he's showing that physically he could still keep up, right?
He's been that Bobby Wagner of the defense,
Seriously, 18 tackles in 4 games, 2 picks, a pick 6, 6 PDs. Like, these are crazy numbers.
Yeah.
Like, for a team that's, like, winless right now. And he's literally the only hope I have for them, like, to bring that team together and, get them to win. JS is too good of a quarterback to be 0-4 right now and not win a game in this division, right?
You know, throwing 7 touchdowns in 4 games is not going to cut it, especially for a guy as good as him.
Yeah, throwing 0 against Nice TDs last game. Like, this team came down from Division 1, not the exact same team as they have, but, like, they should be a 500 team at the very least, right? Like, it has to be an F for me, but, like, man, oh man, like, I do not understand. Like, look, they have Eric, Emil, Zabliski, Mario, Pio, like, Jocelyn's on this team too, Lambert, Paquette. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know, like, GS, look at him mechanically, physically, he looks like the best quarterback in the MFL.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to compare him to, like, Don, Max, Steve, whoever you want to compare him to.
Yeah.
He looks in warm-ups better than any of them. Like, the only one that's maybe comparable is, like, Gab Archambault. Like, he has the same, like, a good build and, like, sings that ball, right?
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know what it is. Like, and Mario's so smart, right? Like, it's really, really disappointing. But, like, I have hope that they could turn it around. Like, I know this team's too good to end the season winless, right?
I'm gonna go with a D- because I like where they're headed. I'm not saying they're going to make. I don't think they'll make the playoffs. I'm not sure they'll even win a game.
They did show some good fight against Red Raiders.
Yes, exactly. And like you said, hold nice TDs to 19 points, which is a high-powered offense too,
Yeah.
even without Dave at quarterback.
It starts this week by defeating Marvels.
Maybe upset alert, trap game.
Yeah. First place Thunder Buddies.
You can take it.
I mean, it kind of sucks evaluating our own selves. We should have.
Yeah.
Let's just go through the facts. Only lost to Nathan down by 3 points, averaging 34 points a game, giving up 28. Defense could be a little better.
Yeah.
Overtime win against Marvels was probably the only bright spot of this season, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, beating Red Raiders is impressive too, by 12.
Yeah. I'd say I give us like a A-, B+. I think that's like where we thought we'd be. Maybe we're a little bit better than we thought. Given that we have a couple new additions to this team that are like really gelling in nicely.
I think A- is solid.
Yeah. Rob White's still leading the Thunder Buddy squad. Remember he led them in receiving in Division 3?
Rob White,
keeping the pace.
He's like fine wine, getting better with age.
Couldn't have said it better. Literally couldn't have said it better. Wow. Okay, let's not waste too much time talking about ourselves. Nice TDs up next. Still a question mark at the quarterback position. I believe it'll be Chris taking over, but like, who knows? Week to week. Winning one of the last 3 games after starting the season 3-0. I'm gonna give this team a solid B.
I gotta go B+. I'm still like, this is still impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think about it. Nice TDs. Like we would be like the team they had last year. Obviously is different, but just to see nice TDs with a winning record is
it's
is
crazy
good stuff.
that obviously Marvin and Laurent are 2 of probably the most talented players on this team, leading the way with both like between 350 and 400 yards, 7 and 9 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But surprising to see Thomas only with 9 and 112, right? Like he's also a baller on this team.
Yeah.
And but this team has great depth like all around.
I think this team's gonna go as far as Chris takes them, and he's got to be a little bit better. 5 touchdowns, 5 picks.
Yeah. And we know he's a great quarterback. He just hasn't played the position full time recently.
Right, with these guys too.
Yeah, especially he's played with a bunch of these guys, right? Like.
Yeah. I mean, not this exact team, so you are right. He has to throw into some of these guys. Yeah. But, he's going to rely on his shoulders, no matter who quarterbacks for this squad.
Yeah. And last but not least, Jagerbomb?
Jagerbomb.
The last one?
Yep. Lost their first game of the season on the final play of the game. Rallied off 3 straight wins. Very impressive win against Marvels. They had a bye last week, beating Les Tenants by 4.
I can't wait for that Jagerbomb Thunder Buddies game because I feel they're having very, very similar seasons right now, right?
Yeah.
Doing exactly what's like asked of them. Not really showing many weaknesses. Small's having another great season.
Yeah.
Only been there for the last 2 games, but still 11 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Felix Fontaine-Larouche, complete like stud.
19 yards per catch, 5 TDs in 3 games.
And like it's half of his yards I think are yak. Like he catches that deep ball, he makes a guy miss. Obviously, JF Delos with 3 touchdowns on that team. I think he's also leading the way. Oh no. He only has 1 interception in 3 games. We have Loic leading the way with 3 interceptions in 4 games for them, and Jonathan Cloutier also having 2. This team really doesn't have many weaknesses, right?
I'm going to go A-.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's it for Division 2.
1-1-1.
Last but not least, some say it's the cream of the crop. What do they call it?
The cream of the crop. That good stuff. Let's start with Iron Wolves because it's kind of weird to talk about my own team. 2-3. You know the Goliath at La Ronde roller coaster?
Yes.
That's the type of season it's been for the Iron Wolves. Roller coaster, who's quarterbacking, who's subbing, who's not going to play for us. It's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts. And we're sitting at 2-3 right now, and it's like a cluster, in Division 1 with a bunch of teams at 2-3. So right,
4 teams with 2 wins.
That's bananas, and we don't know like the tiebreak and all that stuff. So right now, it looks like we're in a playoff spot. I'm gonna go with a C. I'm gonna go with a C for us.
Let's see. You guys did make the jump from Division 2 to Division 1, right? So it's the first season you guys are playing in Division 1.
It's true, but we add Chris, we add Mace, we add Jerome.
Yeah. Jerome is really balling out for you guys, right?
Yes, he is.
With receptions. You're leading the team with touchdowns. Iggy's leading the team with passing touchdowns. On defense, Chris obviously being that pioneer for you guys. Not that you're really missing it, but like it doesn't hurt, right, to have a Chris Hope on that defense, right?
Not at all.
4 interceptions, and that's like with like injuries left and right? Yeah, imagine if he was healthy.
Yeah, touche.
So you guys are, but in spite of that, you guys are still averaging 37 points a game, points against the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Blows my mind. So
yeah.
I'm gonna go with I'm torn. I think I'm gonna go with B-, C+, given the fact that like you guys did make the jump, right?
Yeah.
And in this division, it's the Trollers, the Outlaws, the Gold Cook, the Centurions and A-Team who are the defending champs. There's no other new team here. There's no like
Right.
bitter boys to beat up on.
Yeah.
There's no like easy win in this division. So you guys did like impress me in that way that like you guys are showing that you're part of that division, right? Yeah, yes, you did make those additions, but Division 1 is high scoring. You got to shore up that defense a little bit. I think getting an OT win, getting an OT loss, and back-to-back games. You guys got to just like be more consistent.
God, yeah.
Figure out who's the quarterback.
The season's been like a heart attack after heart attack. We've been our last 2 games were overtime games.
Yeah.
It's been a fun year though, Ryan Wolf. I'm not gonna lie.
Up next, like Cup.
Okay, sitting at 2-3.
In their back-to-back wins against Outlaws and A-Team, they looked like undefeated, like unbeatable.
Unbeatable,
Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, scoring 64 points against the Outlaws, scoring 37 against A-Team, and then kind of disappointing game against Centurions, right?
Yeah.
You have to say that, I mean, Cook were clearly the favorite in that game. The only reason I thought Centurions would win it is because they really, really needed that win, right?
Yeah.
Or else their season was over. They just saved their season. Down the floor, throwing 4 picks is really, really like uncharacteristic of him. Even though he takes a lot of shots downfield, he protects the ball. Like he doesn't throw multiple picks very often.
So he has 14 picks on the season, and that's 4 in that game, 6 against us. So he has 10 in 2 games.
Yeah.
So besides those 2 bad games, he's protecting the ball for the most part. 28 touchdowns. Like, this is as if his team is always on offense here. He has 28 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. Thomas LeMay for these guys, after getting his Hall of Fame inductees, averaging 2 touchdowns a game.
Balling out. Literally balling out.
10 touchdowns in 5 games. Vince has been playing great for these guys. And this is another team that it's hard to take away one, hard to assess it, hard to take away one guy in order for them to
He's
like
averaging 40 points against the game. This team is, what they're missing is consistency, right?
Agreed.
Like they gotta, regardless if they win or lose, they gotta be more consistent throughout their games. Like they lost by 15 down through 4 picks in that game. Like you take those picks down in half, only throw 2, they're probably winning that game, right?
I'm gonna go C-.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. I was gonna go to C- as well.
Yeah.
Can't be better than that. Like the reassuring thing is that like even though they're in the 4th seed now at 2-3, they're like half a game behind the second place.
Yeah, because of that how tight everybody is.
Yeah.
All right, next up, defending champs, A-Team.
A-Team or B-Team?
A-Team, come on. They're without their starting quarterback. Obviously, we don't know how long.
I think Mike Roy is officially taking over.
It looks like it. We don't know how long Dave is going to be out for, but it looks like Mike Roy is going to.
He was leading against Trollers for a good portion of that game. Then Trollers came back at the end to win it.
Max having a great game, 6 TDs to no picks. Mike Roy having a good game as well, 5 touchdowns. I guess that 1 pick really being the heartbreak there. A-Team having an up and down year for these guys, sitting at 2-3, losing back-to-back games against Gokuk and against Holy Trollers. They've had impressive wins against Outlaws, where their defense played one heck of a game. They've beaten Centurions, but that game was actually a forfeit. Right, Centurions didn't actually have their crew, so they're actually 1-3. Look, this team is obviously different after winning the championship, but they still have the squad to go out there and beat teams. So based on expectations and their last 2 games, I'm gonna go with a D+ actually.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
being harsh with your team.
Yeah,
right?
because I like them and I know that they're good and I know that they're a solid squad. And they should. Those last 2 games, they should have been able to win one of them between Gokuk and Trollers. I'm gonna go D+.
I don't know if what I'm going to say makes a lot of sense. Even though they're the defending champs, I did not expect them to be like the 1 seed at the end of the season, right? Like, they were that kind of championship team that kind of flew under the radar for most part of the season, had some surprising wins, had some loss they shouldn't have lost.
Kind of like the Giants won the year they beat the Patriots.
Not really. I think
I was
they're
trying
better.
to make
Yeah, I know.
Dave
But
is a Giants fan.
I just I think they're better than the Giants.
Hey, let's go. Okay,
That's what I'm saying. Like, I just think that team, just when it came to playoff time, they pulled 2 strings of great games together, got to work, focused, and like we're the better team in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And this team clearly has the potential to be the better team in the playoffs again. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go with a C.
Okay.
Because I think I kind of expect them to be right around here. Like obviously losing Dave is huge for them. I think if Dave didn't get injured, they'd probably be 1 game over 500 instead of being 1 game under 500.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting to see how they're gonna finish off this season and fight for that last playoff spot, right?
Yeah.
Because right now it's a stranglehold.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You
jumped into Centurions now, who are 2-4.
I believe we gave an A++ at this time last year. Remember being undefeated?
Yes, exactly. Big win for them against.
That win saved their season. Their only 2 wins are against Gold Cook this year, right?
That's and 2 tight games. Well, no, first tight game, second one wasn't. They just had roster inconsistencies, right? They've had guys show up, guys not show up, so it's tough to kind of build chemistry there.
Still averaging over 40 points against the game, which is like a little concerning no matter who you have in the roster, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to have to be a D plus for me, and the plus is just because you guys beat Gold Cook this weekend. Francis is an all-star rusher on your team. He held Dom to 18 yards on 5 carries this past weekend.
Yeah.
Sacked him twice. That's like insane. Like you can't ask for better than that from your rusher. Yvon Desjardins has been balling out for this team.
Yeah.
I want to see Simon Pierre show up more often, man.
Yeah.
He's one of the better receivers in this league.
Mm-hmm.
Only played 2 games. Simon Drolet has been good for them as well. So has been Louis Archambault. Gab Archambault playing well. Like, look at his stats. You wouldn't think this team has like a losing record, right? 28 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. Almost 1,400 yards in 5 games. That's like 240 yards a game, man.
Yeah.
That's like a lot of yards. Like, I guess the defense is giving up so many points that he has to like force the ball downfield.
Mm-hmm.
But like this team too, like you wouldn't be shocked if this team ended up being in the championship game again,
not.
right?
Definitely not. I think your grade is perfect. Would you say D? D plus.
D something.
D plus. Yeah. Okay. I'm with you on that.
Holy trollers!
Holy cow! More like it. 5-1, winning their last 2 games. Their only loss this season is to Outlaws in a crazy 48-44 game. They won this past weekend in a shootout against us, the Iron Wolves, in overtime. Max is having a season. Max is having a season, and this team is balling out. Jeremy Rooney, 5 games, 9 touchdowns. JC, 5 games, 7 touchdowns. Andrew Grant, 4 games, 7 touchdowns. Yeah. And like this team is deep. We didn't talk about Manu. We didn't talk about Max. We didn't talk about Sean. We didn't talk about Lesniak. We didn't talk about Josh. It is championship or bust for this team, and we've seen them win championships years before, right, Terry? That was really before I joined the league. This team is a powerhouse. Championship or bust for them. I'm going to go with an A.
I'm going with a solid A.
Yeah.
Max is averaging 290 yards a game and over 6 touchdowns a game, giving up just 1 interception a game. That's like phenomenal, right? He did have like phenomenal statistical season last year too.
Yeah.
But I think this one he's just one-upping it.
38 touchdowns.
You spoke about that offense, but even on defense, JC 4 picks in 5 games, Jeremy Rooney 3 picks in 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
Like this team is really good, and they're playing really, really good. Like it's crazy how this team has always been good, but they've either played poorly or played well. And this year they're showing that they're playing well consistently. Even that loss to the Outlaws, they were in that game up to the very end, right?
Mm-hmm.
They could have easily won that one. As bad as the Marvels are having a season in D2, the Trollers are having a great season in D1.
Yes. I think you said it, Terry. The difference with Trollers this year is they're consistent.
Yeah. Because even in that defeat, like we're grading them based on like how they play in win or loss, right?
Right, exactly.
And pulling out that crazy win against Arnos, who they were down like
by 16 with like 6 minutes left.
Where was the game management, John?
John wasn't QB,
but he was there. Like that's crazy. You would never think that any team would like,
especially the
because not only you scored twice, you need to get the 2 points, like, and then they won it in overtime. Like serious props to them for that game.
It's like the Dolphins come back last week against the Ravens.
Yeah, almost.
Last but not least,
Outlaws. You take it away.
Sure. 3-2, winning their last 2 games, beating the Iron Wolves, and they had a bye last week, and giving the Holy Trollers their only loss of the season. They're sitting at 3-2, second in the division. At this point of the season, Outlaws team 3-2, you kind of expect like a 4-1 record, but they've lost an absolute shootout to Gold Cook, who when they play well, and they lost a game where they struggled offensively. This team is good. Obviously, you know that it's going to be championship or bust for Outlaws, like it is every year. Yeah. They've got the 3-headed monster in Smuda, Marvin, and in Svetna. Svetna played 3 games, only 1 TD this year. Kind of surprising.
Reigning receiver of the year.
Exactly. Marvin with 11 TDs.
Oh, Marvin's back.
Marvin's back. Marvin's, as if there was any question. Kevin Smuda with 7 TDs, 450 yards. So Smuda's leading the team in yards and catches. Marvin's leading in touchdowns. Hard to defend. And now they got Rory on the team, who's averaging 29 yards per catch. Steve having a great season, 31 touchdowns, 6 picks. Only concern is defensively for this team, giving up 37 points a game with Kevin Smuda calling the D.
Yeah.
Very good defensive play caller with Marvin back there playing D, with Remy rushing, with Smuda playing D as well, and Svetna too, and the other guys they have on the squad, Dave G2, right? They're not just top heavy, but yeah, giving up 37 points a game is a little bit concerning. So I just look for them to kind of pick that up a little bit. I'm gonna go with a B- though. I like where they're headed. They're winning the last 2 games.
Besides the name for this team, is it still a team to beat? Is it still the team like they didn't win they won a 5-string championship. They did not win last year. Is it still the team that like no matter who's on the team you're expecting them to win, or does it have a different feel to it this season?
I don't think Outlaws have a different feel. I just think the Trollers are 1A and they're 1B because how good the Trollers are this year. Even though they've beaten the Trollers.
You spoke about that oomph around Josh.
That's what I mean.
Do Outlaws still have that oomph?
Yeah, they definitely still have the oomph. And I
don't
think
remember
it's
the last time Outlaws lost more than once in the
look
in the season this early on, right? Like,
no, you're right. The division is getting competitive. I like what they did in their last 2 games. Like I said, I think they do have to pick it up on the defensive side of the football. They still have the oomph. I don't think they're as favorites as they were in years past.
yeah, I could agree. Well, I basically asked you the question because I feel like those like Outlaws and then the middle of the pack and then like the bottom teams.
Right.
I just think that they're closer to the middle of the pack than they were. And like Cholos took a step forward, they took a step back, right?
Like right now, I think if Vegas is putting up numbers, the Cholos have the best odds to win the championship.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's
Would you take them over the Outlaws in the championship game?
Holy Cholos.
Yeah,
Outlaws?
that's the finals right now. They have the best odds. Would you take them over the Outlaws? Outlaws beat them.
I think I would.
Okay.
I think I'd take the Cholos. I'm curious to see that matchup when they play each other later on in the season. Not sure when that is. Last week of the season. Could be first place in the line. It'd be exciting.
I think that's it for today.
I think so too.
Well, you got your longest episode of the season.
Over an hour and a half. That was fun. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Love the suit you're wearing, Terry. Like I said, I had free dress day.
It's a shirt. It's not a suit. A suit's like when you have like a vest and.
I know what a suit is. Thank you very much. That was a fun episode. Super pumped to be back this week. I feel like I haven't seen MFL in forever. I'm craving that MFL.
That's great.
Again, thank you very much. I'm going to be back. Going to be excited. Are you coming this week?
It'll depend.
I may have to carry you.
I'm seeing my doctor, the surgeon, tomorrow. She'll let me know if I could walk.
So we touched upon it a little bit. You got your surgery done,
Yeah.
and honestly, I don't like boosting your ego, but you really took it like a champ. Never heard you complain. So good on you for that. And definitely MFL is better when you're on. So hopefully we see you sooner rather than later.
Appreciate that.
That's all you're getting from me. All right, folks, that's it. We'll see you at La Bear.
At La Bear, starting at 9 o'clock.
9 a.m., folks. 9 a.m. Go to Timmy's, get your coffee, and don't party too hard on Friday night. All right, folks. See you Saturday.